All right, get ready to dive deep with us today because we're going to be tackling the world of nonwoven textile technicians.
Yeah, a field that's really taken off right now.
Absolutely. And we're going to break down how to nail that interview using some awesome resources from RoleCatcher.
That's right. We've got their sample interview questions,
Uh-huh.
career guides,
Okay.
and even insights into how their AI can give you a leg up in the process.
Sounds good to me. So
Yeah.
let's jump right in.
Yeah.
What does a nonwoven textile technician even do?
Okay, so picture this. You're in like this industrial setting, kind of noisy. You hear the hum of machinery,
Okay.
and you are the person behind all those incredible non-woven materials we see every day.
Mm-hmm.
Think medical gowns, filters, even the stuff inside your car's dashboard.
Oh, wow.
So these technicians, they operate and maintain the machines that actually transform fibers into those fabrics.
Okay, so it's a very hands-on role, but also involves some high-tech stuff.
Absolutely.
Makes sense why it's in such demand.
Right.
But let's get down to the interview. What kind of questions can someone expect if they're going for this role?
Well, luckily for us, RoleCatcher has put together a bunch of sample interview questions
Mm-hmm.
specifically for aspiring non-woven textile technicians.
Oh, nice.
And the best part is they don't just give you the question, they give you the insights on what the interviewer is really looking for
That's
and
cool.
how to craft answers that'll really help you stand out.
Okay, so it's like having a cheat sheet going into this thing.
Exactly.
Love it. So what's the first question on the list?
All right, well, they start off with a classic, what experience do you have working with non-woven materials?
Okay. Sounds simple enough, but I'm sure there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
Exactly. It seems straightforward, but there's a lot you can do to really make your answer stand out.
So what's the interviewer really trying to gauge with this question?
So they want to see that you're passionate about this
Okay.
and that you have some hands-on experience, even if it's not directly from a previous job.
Mm.
Think about any relevant coursework, personal projects,
Right.
volunteer work. Did you experiment with textiles in like an art class or help a family member sew something?
Yeah.
All of that is valuable experience.
So it's about connecting the dots and showing them that you're genuinely interested.
Exactly.
In this field, that's a good approach.
Okay.
Okay, so what are some things someone should avoid saying?
Definitely do not say you have no experience.
Okay.
Everyone starts somewhere.
Right.
Instead, frame it as a learning opportunity. You could say something like, while my experience with non-woven materials is limited, I'm incredibly eager to learn and develop my skills in this field.
Okay, so it's about showing that growth mindset.
Absolutely.
I like that. And RoleCatcher gives a sample answer as a starting point, right?
They do. But the magic really happens when you personalize it. Weave in your own story, highlight the experiences that are most relevant to the specific job you're going for. And this is where RoleCatcher's AI can really come in handy. You can plug in the job description, and the AI will help you tailor your response. Highlight those keywords and skills that the employer is looking for.
So it's like having a personal resume and interview coach all in one. That's pretty cool. Anything else to keep in mind about this first question?
Yeah, always think about potential follow-up questions.
Okay.
They might ask you to elaborate on a specific experience or to describe a challenge you faced working with these materials.
Okay.
Being prepared for those follow-ups shows that you've really thought deeply about your experiences.
Good tip.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready for the next one. What else is there?
All right, question number 2, knowledge test. What are the different types of non-woven textiles and how do they differ?
Okay, so this one is about knowing the fundamentals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's your chance to show off your understanding.
I'm feeling a little nervous already.
Ugh.
What's the best way to approach this one?
Don't worry, take a deep breath.
Okay.
You got this. Think back to our earlier chat about non-woven materials being everywhere. That's because there are so many different types.
Right.
So start by explaining the main categories like needle punched,
Uh-huh.
spun bond, melt blown, and air laid.
Okay. I'm vaguely familiar with those terms, but honestly, they all sound like something out of the sci-fi movie. How can someone explain those in a way that's clear without getting too technical?
Analogies are your friend here.
Okay.
For example, you could say that spun bond fabrics are like the strong woven threads of a spider web,
Mm-hmm.
while melt-blown fabrics are more like the fine, delicate strands that catch tiny insects.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Right.
So you're not just listing terms, you're painting a picture for them.
Exactly.
What are some traps people fall into with this type of question?
Sometimes candidates try to name every single type of non-woven fabric they can think of.
Right.
It's not about quantity, it's about quality.
Okay.
Focus on a few key types and explain their differences clearly and concisely.
Got it. And of course, RoleCatcher gives us a sample answer, but how can someone make it their own?
This is where research comes in. If you're applying to a company that specializes in medical textiles, for example, highlight your knowledge of spun lace or hydro-entangled fabrics. Those are commonly used in that sector.
Right.
It shows you've done your homework.
So it's all about tailoring your answer to that specific company or industry that you're interviewing with.
I love that. Now, what about follow-up questions for this one?
They might ask you to elaborate on a specific type of non-woven fabric, its advantages,
Okay.
limitations, or even its applications.
Gotcha.
So stay curious, read industry publications, and you'll be prepared to really impress them with your in-depth knowledge.
And RoleCatcher's AI can help with keeping up on all the latest stuff, right?
Absolutely. Their AI can help you stay on top of advancements, so you're always a step ahead.
Okay. RoleCatcher is sounding more and more like a secret weapon every time we talk about it. I'm ready for the next challenge. What's question number 3? All right, this one gets a little more into the actual job. What equipment do you have experience operating in a non-woven textile production setting?
Okay, so it's not enough to just know the theories. You got to be able to walk in and work the machine.
Exactly. They want to know you can handle the tools of the trade.
So if you've worked in the field before, what's the best way to answer this one?
List the specific machines you've operated and get detailed, mention makes and models if you can.
Okay.
It shows expertise.
Gotcha. But what if you're newer to the field and haven't had the chance to get hands-on with all the equipment yet?
Don't panic.
Okay.
Highlight any relevant training or coursework. Did you learn about these machines in school? Practice operating them during an internship.
Yeah.
Even exposure to similar machinery in other industries can be relevant.
Right.
The key is to emphasize your willingness to learn and adapt.
Okay. I love how there's always a way to frame your skills positively, even if you don't have years of experience under your belt.
Yeah.
What are some things someone should absolutely avoid saying with this question?
Never exaggerate your experience.
Right.
Hiring managers can spot a fib a mile away.
Of course.
Be honest about what you know. And highlight your eagerness to learn new skills.
Honesty is the best policy. Speaking of honesty, I'm curious about how RoleCatcher can help with this question. Do they have a sample answer for this one too?
Of course, but here's where the AI can really help. Think back to that job description. What specific equipment is mentioned?
Right.
Use RoleCatcher's AI to tailor your response and highlight your experience with those machines. It's all about showing that you've read the description carefully and your skills align with their needs.
It's like a personalized matchmaking service for your skills and the job requirements.
I love that. Okay, so we've got the basics. What about potential follow-up questions on this one?
Be prepared to discuss the specifics of your experience with each machine. They might ask about safety procedures, troubleshooting techniques,
Okay.
even your experience with different brands or models.
All right, makes sense. And RoleCatcher's AI can help brush up on those specifics too. Absolutely, it can give you that extra boost of confidence.
All right, we've covered 3 questions so far. I'm already feeling more prepared for that interview.
Awesome.
But I know we have a lot more to cover.
We're just getting started.
Okay.
Stay tuned as we delve into more of these questions and explore how RoleCatcher can help you through every step of the way.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so you aced the first 3 questions.
Fingers crossed.
Okay, let's move on to question number 4.
All right, what do we got?
This one is all about quality. How do you ensure quality control in non-woven textile production?
Okay, so attention to detail is key here.
Absolutely. This question is designed to see how well you understand quality standards and what you do to keep them up to par.
So how can our listeners show off their quality control skills to the interviewer?
Well, first start by showcasing your knowledge of industry standards
Okay.
and quality control protocols. You want to mention specific standards that you're familiar with, and then highlight your experience with different quality control methods.
Gotcha.
Like, have you ever done visual inspections? Searching for tiny imperfections.
Right.
Have you used testing equipment to assess the fabric?
Oh, yeah.
Like the strength,
Right.
the permeability, absorbency?
Okay.
Be specific and mention the types of tests and equipment you've used.
So it's all about showing them you're really meticulous
Yes.
and understand that process inside and out. What are some things people should avoid saying for this one?
Definitely avoid those vague answers like, oh, I just make sure everything looks good.
Right.
No, you want to dive into those details, explain your process, the tools you use, the standards you adhere to. Don't be afraid to get a little technical here.
Show them you're an expert. All right. Speaking of experts, does RoleCatcher have any tips for this question?
They do. Their sample answer is a great framework.
Okay.
But you can take it to the next level by incorporating specific examples. Think about a time you had to identify the root cause of a defect.
Right.
Or when you implemented a new procedure that streamlined the process.
Yeah.
Those real-world examples will make you stand out.
Okay, so it's all about showing, not just telling.
Exactly.
Love that. Okay, so they've got the answer down. What about those follow-up questions?
Be ready to talk about your experience with specific quality control software.
Okay.
Or your knowledge of industry-specific regulations.
Gotcha.
They could even give you a hypothetical situation.
Oh, like what?
Like imagine a sudden drop in fabric strength.
Okay.
How would you investigate and resolve that?
That's a good one.
Right.
Really test your problem-solving skills on the spot.
Exactly. It's not just about knowing the procedures.
Right.
It's about thinking critically and adapting to unexpected challenges.
Okay. And this is another area where RoleCatcher can help, right?
Yes. Their AI can provide you with tons of information on common issues and their solutions, so you can practice your problem-solving skills and be ready for anything.
RoleCatcher is like my new interview prep best friend. Okay, what's the next interview question?
All right, question number 5 is all about staying up to date.
Okay.
How do you stay up to date with advancements in nonwoven textile technology?
That's a good one. This field is constantly evolving.
Right. New technologies and materials are always popping up, so you have to stay ahead of the curve.
So how can someone show that they are committed to that?
Honesty is key here.
Okay.
Don't just list off industry journals you've never read.
Right.
Instead, talk about how you actually stay informed. Do you subscribe to specific publications?
Yeah.
Attend webinars?
Right.
Follow thought leaders online?
Gotcha.
Be specific and name those publications, organizations, or people you follow.
So it's not enough to say you stay informed, you got to show them how.
Right. Show, don't tell.
What should someone avoid saying here?
Don't ever say you don't have time to keep up with the news.
Okay.
Employers want someone who is passionate about the field.
Right.
And dedicated to learning.
Makes sense. Okay,
Yeah.
so RoleCatcher has a sample answer for this, but how can someone make it their own?
Share a recent industry development that sparked your interest.
Okay.
Did you read about a new type of biodegradable material? Or a groundbreaking manufacturing technique?
Yeah?
This shows that you're not just passively reading things.
Right.
You're actively looking for new knowledge.
It's about engaging with those trends.
Hmm.
Okay, what about follow-up questions here?
They might ask you to elaborate on a specific advancement you mentioned,
Okay.
or how you'd apply that new knowledge to your work.
Right.
Be prepared to discuss emerging trends in the industry.
Okay.
It's your chance to shine as a forward-thinking candidate.
I love that it's like you're having a conversation with them, not just a robotic question and answer session. Okay, we're on a roll. Let's keep going. What's the next question?
All right, number 6 is all about problem solving. How do you troubleshoot issues that arise during nonwoven textile production?
Okay, so this one requires some serious thinking on your feet.
Absolutely. Things are bound to go wrong sometimes.
Right. So you need to show them you can handle those unexpected challenges.
So how can someone demonstrate their ability to problem solve like that?
Start by outlining your general approach to problem solving.
Okay.
Do you follow a step-by-step process? Do you rely on your knowledge of the machines?
Yeah.
Do you collaborate with others?
Makes sense.
And then share a specific example from your past experience where you successfully tackled a difficult problem.
Okay.
Describe the situation, the steps you took, and the outcome.
Okay, so give him a play-by-play.
Exactly. What are some pitfalls to avoid here?
Well, I'm guessing don't blame other people.
Right. Avoid blaming others or making excuses, even if it wasn't your fault. Focus on what you did to solve it.
Okay.
And don't be vague. Like,
Yeah.
well, I just figured it out.
Yeah, no one wants to hear that.
No, be specific. Break down your thought process,
Yeah.
the tools and solutions you used.
Take ownership and show them you can handle those tough situations. All right, does RoleCatcher have anything for this question? They do. Think
Right.
back to a time you faced a really challenging situation, maybe a machine malfunction or a quality control issue that needed some serious detective work.
Right.
The more specific and relatable your story is, the better.
I love that. Okay, so we've got a good story. What about potential follow-ups?
They might ask about your experience with specific tools and techniques,
Okay.
or they might give you a hypothetical problem,
Like what?
like a sudden increase in fabric waste,
Okay.
and ask you to walk them through your process.
Okay, so it's like a test right on the spot.
It is, and RoleCatcher's AI can help you here too.
Oh, how so?
They have information on tons of common production problems and solutions so you can practice your troubleshooting skills virtually.
It's like having a virtual simulation of the interview. That's pretty amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
we're making great progress. What's next?
Okay, question number 7 is, how do you ensure that non-woven textile production meets environmental standards?
All right, so this one is all about sustainability,
Yes, it reflects the growing focus on the environment in every industry.
which is super important. The textile industry has a big responsibility to do their part. How can our listeners showcase their commitment to that?
Start by highlighting your knowledge of environmental regulations
Okay.
and industry standards.
Yeah.
Mention specific regulations related to things like waste management,
Right.
emissions control, or using eco-friendly materials.
Gotcha.
Then describe the steps you've taken in your own experience to minimize the environmental impact.
Okay.
Have you implemented recycling programs, worked with sustainable materials,
Mm-hmm.
optimized production to reduce energy use?
So it's all about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Exactly. What are some common mistakes people make here?
I would imagine being too general.
Right. Avoid generic answers without specific examples.
Okay.
Don't just say, I care about the environment.
Yeah. Show them what you've done.
Right. Back it up with action.
Okay. And what about being unaware of regulations?
Yes. Make sure you've done your research on those industry-specific standards.
It's about showing them that you're proactive in implementing those practices.
Yeah.
Okay. RoleCatcher has a sample answer. How can someone make it stand out?
Think about a specific project where you played a part in promoting sustainability.
Okay.
Did you help implement a new waste reduction program?
Mm-hmm.
Or suggest switching to a more eco-friendly material?
Okay.
Share those tangible examples.
I like that those stories really showcase your dedication to making a difference. Okay, so what about potential follow-up questions for this one?
They might ask about specific environmental challenges in the non-woven textile industry or your views on emerging sustainable technologies.
Gotcha.
They could also give you a scenario,
Oh, like what?
like a hypothetical environmental
Right.
concern,
Okay.
and ask how you would approach it.
So they're testing your problem-solving skills again, but in a different context.
Exactly. Be ready to think critically and come up with solutions that benefit both the company and the planet.
All right, we've tackled 7 tough questions so far. I'm feeling pretty good about this.
You're doing great. We've still got a few more to go. So stay tuned as we continue our deep dive into these interviews.
Okay, we are back for the final round of our Nonwoven Textile Technician interview prep.
You got it. We're in the home stretch now.
I'm feeling pretty good. We've covered a lot of ground,
Yeah, you've tackled 7 tough questions already.
but I know there's still a few more challenges waiting for us.
Right, we've got 3 more questions to go.
Okay.
And they're all about those essential skills organization,
Mhm.
customer focus,
Okay.
and of course, safety.
All right, bring it on. I'm ready to conquer these final questions and walk into the interview feeling totally prepared.
That's the attitude.
Yeah.
All right, so question number 8. It's a classic. How do you prioritize tasks when managing multiple projects simultaneously?
Okay, so this one is about organization and juggling a lot of responsibilities at once.
Exactly. They want to see how you handle those competing priorities.
Yeah, I'm a master multitasker,
Well, we all try to be.
but sometimes it feels like I'm juggling chainsaws instead of tennis balls.
I feel that. So how can our listeners really impress the interviewer with their organizational skills?
Yeah, what's the secret?
Well, first, you want to lay out your general approach to project management
Okay.
and task prioritization.
Mm.
Do you use to-do lists, spreadsheets, project management software?
What?
Do you break down big projects into smaller chunks?
Right.
How do you communicate with your team to make sure everyone is on track?
Okay, so it's about having a system.
Right. A strategy
Mm-hmm.
and clear communication.
Got it. So what are some things to avoid saying here? I'm guessing claiming to be a master multitasker is not the way to go.
You got it. Effective multitasking is more about strategic task switching
Okay.
and focusing on the most important things first.
Not trying to do everything at once.
Exactly. And don't forget to mention collaboration.
Right.
Highlight your ability to delegate tasks
Hmm.
and work as a team.
Okay, work smarter, not harder. All right, so RoleCatcher has a sample answer for this. How can someone make it more personal?
Think back to a time when you had a crazy workload, maybe a peak production period or when unexpected problems popped up.
Right.
How did you handle the pressure?
Mm-hmm.
What strategies did you use to stay organized, meet deadlines?
Yeah, show them you can thrive in those situations.
Yeah.
Okay, what about follow-up questions? What might they ask?
They might ask about your experience with specific project management methodologies,
Like what?
like Agile or Scrum.
Okay.
These are frameworks that help teams work together effectively.
Gotcha.
They could also give you a scenario
Okay.
with competing priorities and a tight deadline
Uh-huh.
and ask how you would approach it.
All right, so it's like a real-time problem-solving test. But luckily, RoleCatcher can help us prepare for that too.
Absolutely. Their AI features can give you insights into different approaches and tools.
Okay, it's like having a personal coach in my pocket, guiding me through those tough questions.
Exactly. All right, ready for question number 9?
Yeah, bring it on. I'm feeling unstoppable.
Okay, this one shifts gears a bit. How do you ensure that non-woven textiles meet customer requirements?
Okay, so this is about customer focus.
Yes, it's about understanding and exceeding those expectations.
Which is so important in any industry.
Right, especially when you're making materials used in so many different ways.
So how can our listeners show off their customer-centric approach?
We'll start by emphasizing clear communication with customers.
Okay.
Do you actively try to understand their needs?
Mm-hmm.
Do you use surveys, feedback forms, regular check-ins?
So you're building a partnership with them.
Exactly, working together towards a common goal.
Love that. Okay, so once you understand their needs, what's next?
You have to show how you turn those needs into high-quality products.
Right.
Talk about your experience with quality control measures.
Okay.
Do you do thorough inspections, use testing equipment?
So you're like a detective making sure every detail is perfect.
Exactly, and it's not just about being meticulous.
Yeah.
It's about going above and beyond.
Right.
Share an example of a time when you really wowed a customer.
Yeah.
Did you adapt a process to meet a unique request? Collaborate with other teams to find a creative solution.
Those are the kind of stories that make an interview memorable. Okay. What are some common pitfalls to avoid here?
Don't focus solely on technical stuff
Okay.
and overlook the human element.
Right.
Remember, customer service is just as important as technical expertise.
Yeah, you got to build those relationships.
Okay.
So RoleCatcher has a sample answer. How can someone personalize this one?
Think of a time when you got great feedback from a customer.
Okay.
Maybe you solved a tough problem or delivered ahead of schedule.
Uh-huh.
Sharing those stories adds personality to your answer.
It shows your passion.
Okay.
What about follow-up questions here?
They might ask about your experience with customer relationship management software
Okay, CRM.
or your knowledge of industry customer service standards.
Gotcha.
They could even give you a hypothetical scenario with a
Right.
challenging customer request
Uh-huh.
and ask how you'd handle it.
It's a test of your diplomacy and problem-solving skills under pressure.
Exactly. All right, ready for the final question?
Bring it on. Let's do this.
Okay. How do you ensure the safety of workers in a non-woven textile production setting?
Good. Safety first. That's always a top priority.
Absolutely. We're talking about people's well-being.
So how can someone demonstrate their commitment to that?
We'll start by showing your knowledge of safety regulations and best practices.
Okay.
Mention specific regulations related to machine operation, PPE, hazard communication, emergency procedures.
Right.
But don't just list them out. Show them how you've actually applied them.
Okay.
Have you conducted safety training?
Uh-huh.
Implemented safety audits?
Yeah.
It's about being a safety champion.
Not just following the rules.
Exactly. And share a specific example of a time when you went above and beyond to keep people safe.
Okay.
Did you identify a hazard and fix it? Did you implement a new procedure?
Right.
Those stories show your dedication.
What are some mistakes to avoid with this one?
Don't downplay safety
Right.
or assume accidents are just going to happen. You need to show a strong commitment to preventing them.
Yeah, and not just saying, I follow the rules.
Exactly. Highlight specific actions you've taken to prevent accidents.
Be proactive.
Oh, okay.
So RoleCatcher has a sample answer, but how can someone make it stand out?
Think back to a time when you saw a near miss
Okay.
or spotted a hazard others missed.
Uh-huh.
How did you handle it? What did you do to correct the issue?
Show them you're a safety advocate.
Exactly. Those are the qualities of a true leader. Okay. Any potential follow-up questions here?
Yeah. What might they ask?
They could ask about specific training programs,
Okay.
your knowledge of emergency procedures, or your ability to assess risks.
Gotcha.
They might even give you a hypothetical scenario,
Okay.
like a chemical spill
Oh, what?
or a machine malfunction,
Right.
and ask how you would respond.
It's like a safety simulation, putting your knowledge to the test.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's AI can help you practice those scenarios.
Okay, so you're ready for anything. Wow, we have covered so much in this deep dive. 10 interview questions, expert insights, real-world examples, and even how RoleCatcher's AI can help.
Great. It's your secret weapon.
I feel so much more prepared for my interview now.
I'm so glad to hear that. Remember, preparation is key.
Absolutely.
And with the right resources, you can walk into that interview feeling confident and ready to shine.
This has been such an insightful deep dive, but before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
Okay.
The career guide mentioned the growing demand for these non-woven materials in all kinds of industries, healthcare, construction, even things like sustainable solutions. What innovations do you think we'll see in the future?
Ooh, that's a great question. The possibilities are endless. I mean, imagine lightweight, breathable fabrics for medical use, super strong, durable materials for construction,
Yeah,
maybe even biodegradable non-wovens to help the environment.
that would be incredible.
As a non-woven textile technician, you'll be right at the forefront of this industry, shaping the future of materials and making a real difference.
It sounds like a really exciting time to be entering this field. And with the knowledge and skills you've gained from this deep dive, you are well on your way to a rewarding and impactful career.
Absolutely.
Good luck with those interviews, everyone.
You got this.